Okay, we're here in HaYichud. We're going to be continuing our series in Jewish breathwork. There's a Neshama Neshima, in this amazing book by Rav Bezinson. We are on page 113. In the last class that we did on Neshama Neshima, we were talking about Rabbi Avraham Abulafia and Prophetic Kabbalah. And we read a few different things that we have no understanding of, but we see that there is definitely an ancient tradition of the Jewish people knowing how to meditate and using meditation and breathwork partnered with spirituality, Jewish kosher spirituality and deeper Kabbalah, in order to get to higher levels of connection and service of Hashem. With all that's coming out by Rav Avraham Abulafia right now. There's even more books that are just being released now in English as well. With everything that's coming out, all of his books, I think it's over 13 books that he has, and they're all completely revealed now. We can't deny that we have this tradition in our people. We can't deny that we have this holy breathing. But it was hidden from the eyes of everybody. It's known too that Rav Avraham Abulafia, in his own lifetime, everybody was against him. All of the greats of the Jewish people in his lifetime didn't agree with it. We have to know that there's a rule when Tzadikim are in disagreement with each other, us as students have to run away. We don't understand what's going on. Even if physically it seems like this one rabbi does not like the other rabbi and doesn't approve of his path, it could very well be that he does believe in this rabbi, he does believe in his path. It's just that one is trying to protect the other. And in order to protect him, there's a little bit of disrespect, of lack of honor, of we don't act like that, we don't believe like that. When deep down inside there's nothing wrong with that path, it's just that someone in this world has to protect that rabbi. And the only person that could do it is someone else that's on his level. So Rabbi Nachman talks about this as well, that the vacancy, the vacant space that was created in the creation at the beginning when Hashem took his lights to the side. So to say that too in our times is kept there by way of the machloket between the tzadikim, the disagreements between tzadikim. We can never get involved in disagreements between tzadikim as if we're on the level to even be talking about it. We have to run away from it. And even more so, Rabbi Nachman says that if a person is surrounded by machloket of tzadikim, it's because they have a blemish on their breed. Their tzadik yesod olam is blemish, so then they don't understand the things that are going on between tzadikim. So don't ever think that you understand what's going on because one rabbi says something about another rabbi or about another approach. You might not understand at all, and if you do, you're going to start playing with fire because you're not on their level to be in this conversation. When two giants are talking, what is a midget coming in between them and trying to get involved? Let giants be giants, and us, we just try to connect to Hashem and keep going and learn Torah. When can you? If you see someone outright going against halacha and the principles of the Torah, so then yeah, you shouldn't be following them. But as long as they are within halacha, within Torah, you have no reason to say anything against them. They just happen to have a different approach in Torah. Don't get involved. Don't get involved. So Rabbi Abulafia was one of the people that in his lifetime was a super holy person, doing very lofty things, nothing against halacha. The rabbis of the generation put a cloud of machloket over him. And you see that it lasted for generations and generations. Abulafia was like 800 years ago. And it wasn't until Tzfat times, in the 14 and 1500s, about 300 years, 250 years after Rav Abulafia, that he started to have chachamim that agreed with him and that were okay with him. Why was there such a machloket, Rav Bezinson says, against Rav Abulafia? Because they wanted to make sure that these teachings wouldn't spread out. Right? If the rabbis give their approval to something, then it's going to spread like wildfire. And it wasn't the time for these stories to be spreading. People weren't on that level. And if people go into them and they're not careful, if they go beyond the level that's allowed to them, if they start to reach above their pay grade, so then from a beautiful light that someone's trying to seek out, it starts to become ribui, or it starts to become too much light, like Reb Nachman warned us of. And that ribui, or causes kibui aner. It extinguishes our own flame, our own candle. When a person chases out too much light, that light will end up putting out your own light. And that's why the rabbis of the Rav Abulafia's time didn't want to give him backing in his process and his teachings, because it was too much light. It was way too much light for the time. But it's interesting to point out that all of the Kabbalists, like Rav Moshe Cordovero, Rav Chaim Vital, and their students, and Rav Avraham Avzulai, they had no hesitation when it came to quoting Rav Avraham Abulafia and using even complete portions of text in their books. Sometimes they did it and removed his name, didn't say his name. And sometimes they said his name. And it took a few more 100 years after that the first time that Rav Avraham Abulafia was spoken to with honor and respect was by the Chida. One of Rabbeinu Rav Chaim Yosef David Azulai, Zecher Tzadik Kadosh Livracha. The Chida was a great-great-grandson of the Chesed Avraham, the Avraham Azulai that we mentioned here, the students of the Rav Chaim Vital. And he talks about this Gaon, this giant, Rav Avraham Abulafia, with respect. It's the first time that outright someone was like pro Rav Avraham Abulafia. Was the Chida, the 1700s. But since the hearts of the Jewish people over the generations have become weaker and weaker, many people came again and trying to hide this light of Rav Avraham Abulafia from the world, from the masses. And it's a big portion of Am Yisrael, a big branch of the avodah, of the work that we have to do, is this prophetic meditation, right? That Rav Avraham Abulafia gave us. And this explains also all the other mystical movements that we've had in Am Yisrael that had a lot of opposition to them. Anything that comes with a lot of light, the rabbis oppose it. Not necessarily because it's bad, not necessarily because it's not true, not necessarily because the rabbi is bad, because sometimes there has to be opposition in order for it to come down in the right measure and to not be such a light that it takes away our each individual flame that we need to keep on going every single day. That's why it's very important to not speak about rabbis and to not get involved in between the arguments of rabbis, because you don't know what's going on. You don't understand all the calculations of why there is opposition, why there is, so to say, people speaking out against this thing. It could be that it's so good that the rabbis wanted to come down, trickling down, and not at once. And if they were all to talk about it and give it backing, boom, at once everybody would be on it. You hear one rabbi say, no, we don't hold like that, we don't do that thing, that thing's not how we act. Who's to say that it's a bad thing? Who's to say that it's something that you should be talking, and now you go and you repeat like a parrot what your rabbi said? Who are you? Your rabbi had an opinion. You're not on his level to share the same opinion. He says we don't do that, so you don't do that. You don't need to go talk to anybody else in the world of why we don't do that, what your rabbi said. Again, we have to be very careful here because we're talking about Tzadikim. And the second you disrespect the Tzadik, he's not even allowed to forgive you for that himself. You have to ask Hashem for forgiveness on them, because he's nullified to Hashem. So who did you disrespect? Hashem. It's very dangerous. Let's avoid this completely. Has the time come? Maybe. Are we allowed to reveal what was hidden by Rav Avraham Abulafia? Has the time come where all of these things need to come out? Goel tzedek levad yagid ach bentayim, right? The righteous Redeemer, when Mashiach comes, we'll let him tell us. Hashem, he can tell us. In the meantime, ברור שחייבות להציץ מפה ושם מקדמות נפלאות ומבטיחות כהכנות לגילוי כוח הנבואה מחדש. We know that Mashiach era and the Mashiach himself are going to bring back and reinstitute prophecy. If we're getting closer to that, so then it's only natural that here and there, these introductions and these glimpses and these messages are going to come out. Has the time come for revelation of all the deeper secrets of the Torah? Let Hashem decide, let the Mashiach decide when the time has come. For now, what do I know is for sure? Here and there we see in the world these practices and these ideas that are starting to come out there that are super deep, and more in our generation they're starting to make it to the mainstream. Why? It's clear what he's saying. This is all preparation, getting us to the level that we start to get more familiar with these ideas. When the revelation comes, it's going to come. And we would have already tasted here and there little snippets of it. Like the Baal Shem Tov says, this Torah is the Torah of the Mashiach. We're going to stop there for now. Next time we get on, we're going to talk about Rav Chaim Vital. Some more Tzfat Torah.